What will Canyon bikes do, and what should Canyon do about the battery problem that they've been having? As you likely know, Canyon has had a problem with the batteries in their Spectral On and their Torque On, the carbon fiber models, primarily because the batteries in those bikes were specially made for Canyon and they're not Shimano batteries. And what they told us was we would hear something by early December, and that was to be December 4th. And the next thing I learned was it was going to be postponed to the end of the week, a few days to the end of this week, which is today, December 6th. And now we're being told it's going to be the end of next week. Now, while this is only a few days, it does get us to start speculating about what's going on at Canyon. So this video is sort of what we've learned since the last videos I put together on this subject and what we've learned since then, and a little bit of speculation on what may happen with a little bit of intelligence that I've gathered from all of you and some research. So let's get into that. Well, these delays are only a few days. I mean, it means a lot to us because we can't ride our bikes, but it does start to bring into question what's really happening at Canyon. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about sort of what we've learned, what's sort of happening from what we can tell, what others know, and then maybe what could happen. And some of you may be speculating on this. I'm going to do my best to guess at what may happen. And at the end, I'm going to give my advice, not really to you, but to Canyon on what should be done based on what I've heard you all would like to see done. Now, if you haven't seen my earlier videos, check them out. You can look at my channel, and I've covered what the problem is, what bikes are addressed, what bikes are having the problem, and what you need to do to check to see if it's your bike or if there's a problem, what to do next. Also, I put together another video on why this is a problem. But today I'm going to cover sort of what we've learned. And this is what we've learned so far. This is a much bigger problem, I suspect, than what Canyon is leading. They've said that it affects a very small number of batteries, and as you know, if you've watched my previous videos, I have 3 Canyon bikes here in the garage, and one of them has a cracked battery, so that's 1 out of 3. Now, maybe I'm unusual, but I'm getting a lot of reports from people that have cracked batteries. We know this has been going on for some time. We even had one person report that they've had 3 different batteries shipped to them from Canyon that have all cracked, and now they still have a cracked battery. So this is sounding like a bigger problem than what the Canyon is fessing up that it is. Also, we know this has been happening for some time, and I saw reports very early on, even when I bought my bike over a year ago, that there were some cracks occurring. But we even saw, and as I reported in one of my earlier videos, a fire that involved the Canyon Spectral On, and that was in February. So Canyon has known about this for quite some time, and now they're dealing with it. Why they're dealing with it in the way they are right now, I'm not going to speculate. It may be that there was a bigger problem that occurred, and they felt the liability was just too much, and so they had to get people to stop riding their bikes. But then that kind of tells us what they might do next. But before I get into that, a couple more things that we know. First of all, I've been in touch with Canyon. They are not providing replacement parts for the bikes that are under this recall. Now, it's just the battery that's under the recall, but it's kind of fishy as to why they're not providing any replacement parts. Obviously, we can't ride the bike, so you don't need it right away, but it does kind of make you wonder. Also, I mentioned earlier that Canyon hired a call center to deal with everything related to the battery. Well, that has changed. That call center is no longer answering the phone. You're now getting Canyon again. And the people you talk to are the regular Canyon employees who know a lot more about the bikes and aren't just reading from a script. So that's helpful. However, they don't know anything. And I've had these conversations with at least 3 of their employees, and they'd like to help. They're really trying to be helpful, but they're not being told what's going to happen. One other thing I learned, there's a viewer of this channel that lives in Australia. They have a Torcon, the carbon fiber model. It has a cracked battery, and they insisted, and they got a full refund for the bike. Now, I don't know how old that bike is, but that could make you wonder kind of what's going to happen next. So what will Canyon do? Well, first of all, here's what you all are saying. I'm hearing people say, I just want a new battery. Get me a new battery and that'll be great. Others are saying, I need to be compensated for the time that I've lost riding this. I can't ride this bike for a month or more, who knows now. Others are just fed up and they say, I want a full refund. So Canyon has to do something to keep its customer base. Now here's the part of the video that you're probably not going to hear from anybody else. And the other people that are reporting on this, the media or YouTube video producers, generally have a relationship with Canyon, and that makes it very difficult. It's a hard-won relationship that they have, and they don't want to ruin that. I don't have a relationship with Canyon. My whole purpose is to get this information to you, and I don't have sponsorships. So you're just going to hear straight from me and what my thoughts are. Now, on that subject, the best thing you can do to keep my information coming to you is support the channel by either subscribing, giving it a thumbs up, giving your comments, sharing the video. Best thing you can do is subscribe. That's getting the video out there to as many viewers as possible. So thank you for that if you do subscribe. What should Canyon do? Well, first of all, the most obvious thing they should do is replace the battery for the bikes. And if they do that, that battery really should be UL approved and have some independent testing. And that's going to take some work or some time. So if they haven't been working on that, then we're going to be waiting a while. If they have been working on it, and they've been working on it with Shimano, which would be the preferred answer, in my opinion, because then the battery, the control system, the motor are all approved together, and that is how UL has some of its approvals set up. The battery is not going to be as large as it is in your bike now, and that's going to be a deep downgrade to the bike. So something else will have to happen. Their largest battery that Shimano makes for that step system is 640 watt hour battery, I believe, 630 watt hours. Up until they made that one, 504 watt hours was the largest battery they made, and that's when these bikes originally came out. So you can see why they made their own battery going with a different vendor. So that's one option, replace the battery, but it would be a smaller battery if they give us a robust one made by Shimano. And on the topic of using the motor manufacturer battery, most of the other manufacturers of bikes we see where we're using Shimano or we're using Bosch or we're using TQ use the batteries from those manufacturers. YT is one that does not. I think they use the same vendor, though that battery looks more robust. But most manufacturers, and I think this is the future, I think this is a trend going forward, is that the e-bikes will be, the entire electric systems provided by the same company. That's the safest and most reliable way to do this. That's a lesson we're learning from Canyon's mistake. The next thing Canyon could do is they could give you a full refund on the bike, or some sort of refund. That presents a lot of challenges. Obviously, it would be a huge hit to the company. And also, people like I have modified my bike, so I've got a lot of different parts on that. If I had to send that bike back, I wouldn't want to send back the parts that I put on it. Very expensive parts like forks. I'd be tearing that stuff off, so they wouldn't be getting a full bike back. So that's going to be a challenge if that's the direction they head. The last thing they could do is provide some combination of that or some kind of a discount. Maybe it's a refund for part of your bike in combination with a battery, or it's a refund for the bike altogether and some sort of discount on future bikes. And that kind of gets me to what does Canyon really need to do to keep its customers? Well, we know Canyon is not a private, I mean, it is a private company. It is not not owned by the founder. It has received a lot of investments over the last, say, 3 or 4 years, including LeBron James family and a large private equity firm. And so a lot of money was put into that company. You've seen a lot of advertisements. I think they support a Tour de France team. And so they're doing a lot to grow the company. And we've seen growth. It's been like 25% a year for a couple years now. And so if they are wanting that company to continue to grow, they're really going to have to do something to hold on to their customers. And that's going to take quite a bit of an effort. I'm going to tell you what I think they should do. First of all, what I don't think they should do is file bankruptcy, and that is my own bias because I don't want to lose the value of that bike. And they could do that. They could file Chapter 7 and just completely go bankrupt and not support the bikes and not give us any money back for our bikes. That would be terrible. I don't think that's going to happen. There are other forms of bankruptcy that could be in between that would give us some compensation, but still not ideal. Here's what I think Canyon should do. Now, there's 2 ways this could go. If Canyon already has a set of batteries, and hopefully that would be Shimano batteries, they're going to be 630 watt hours, so that's going to degrade the bike that you have if they use that as a replacement. But they could, so here's what Canyon should do. Provide that battery, tell you that it's safe, and give you some sort of compensation for the fact that you no longer have as much range with that bike. They could do that, or they could provide an additional battery, or both. If they don't have batteries already lined up to send to us so that we can start riding our bikes right away, they need to provide a refund. And the best thing that Canyon can do is to keep their customers is provide a full refund. If they can't get us a bike that can't make our current bike safe, give us a full refund and give us a discount on another Canyon bike. That would keep us as Canyon customers. In fact, if you aren't a Canyon customer, you might be saying, dang, I wish I had a Canyon bike. So I'd get a full refund and a discount on one of their future bikes. Not only should it be a discount on their future, on your future bike, on a bike that they might have available, but you should get priority in purchasing that bike. So you shouldn't have to wait in a long line along with new customers, because you're already a customer. Now, that's my opinion on what Canyon should do. If they want to stay a viable company and they want to have a good reputation with their current customers and perhaps attract new ones, there's no way Canyon's going to grow at 25% next year with this kind of problem unless they do something like that. It's going to take quite a bit of an investment from their investors, but my opinion is they need to double down. Now, of course, I'm a bit biased because I have Canyon bikes, and I would like to stay a Canyon customer, and I don't want to lose the value of those bikes. Now, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, and you probably have different thoughts than I do. If you've got thoughts on what Canyon should do or what you think they're going to do, we're going to be waiting about another week to hear from them. Maybe it'll take longer. Who knows? They've delayed a couple times already. But give me your comments. Again, subscribe if you want to hear more. If this is something that is valuable to you, it would really help the channel if you do that. And I will keep you posted on everything I learn, especially next week. If news does come out, I'll let you know when that happens and any other information that goes along with that. Thanks again for watching.